My name is Colin SkipperWing Bird, and welcome to another episode of The Crimson Fly, the speed paint video series where you can see me make the animated comic The Crimson Fly. If you like the version of this video or any of my other videos without the audio commentary, you can check out the links in the description below, or in the annotations, or in the cards, too. Today's music is Gotta Get Up by The Passion Hi-Fi, and you can find a link to download it in the description below. So I mostly caught that off the cuff, which is kind of surprising to me because my memory is absolutely balls and stupid. And so I decided that today's video would be more off the cuff and get away from a script, mostly because those have been kind of been a little bit too time intensive to write. And so I felt like going more off the cuff just for this one time, or 2 times, or however many times I keep doing this. So yeah, on to today's strip. So, in terms of plot, the go-through's got a bomb, and he ain't afraid to use it. What will our hero do? So, as I mentioned in the last time I was doing this, in my last video, I was a little uncomfortable with the idea of the character having a bomb because that's kind of stretched my personal suspension of disbelief. I mean, I'm fine with the character having a gun because a gun is pretty easily obtainable, license or no license. Gun shops, pawn shops, what have you. There's literally a gun shop in my local mall, in my in the outdoor store. They're not hard to find. Grenades, not so much, especially in the wake of, you know, terrorist attacks and all of that jazz. And even if 9/11 and the subsequent, series of terror stuff hadn't happened, I don't really know how easy it is to get your hands on a grenade. So, it's kind of weird that a local gangster just has one. But I needed something to sort of break up the confrontation, because the kid who will be the Crimson Fly, they're not going to back down from somebody who tried to kill them. Or they might, but they would rather see them brought to, they're not in any state to sort of continue this engagement. And similarly, the go-through probably wants to kill the Crimson Fly, but they can't. So it's this sort of weird stalemate. I needed something to break it. And I figured that an explosion would be the best way to do that, but not something that was completely at random since it hadn't been set up before. No, I decided to use the grenade instead. And honestly, it sort of speaks to the power of the character. I mean, after all, if he has a grenade, then what else can he do? Or who is he working for that can give him such a thing? So yeah, that was fun. Meanwhile, in terms of technique, it is the age-old dilemma of what to animate versus what not to animate. And some of the choices were easy, like the grenade rotating in the air, easy. Diving for the grenade, not entirely necessary, but I think it adds a little bit more tension, especially with the pause at the end. What was really confusing, I was really unsure about was the flash. Mostly because the flash has to be a cliffhanger of some sort, but it can't be a ending in and of itself. So the character bouncing away from the explosion, or bouncing out of the frame, or bouncing and hitting a wall or something, that would tell you that the character is okay, and that wouldn't provide the sort of adequate cliffhanger that I wanted, as opposed to they were at point blank during the explosion, they got blown backwards, but you don't know if they're okay or not. So, wasn't really sure if that was something that I wanted to do or not. And in the end, I decided to give the illusion that the character was being blown back, but not actually moving. And so I accomplished that by taking the flash animation of them being, pun actually not intended, of them being blown away, and instead of showing them moving, I just had them their lines jiggle. So it looks like they're being blown away, but they're not actually moving. And I thought that was pretty cool. Not entirely easy or hard to not entirely easy to pull off, but also not really that hard either. The other thing I did is I had the character bounce in front of the grenade, and for that, I decided that I would just do it purely traditional. There just wasn't enough energy necessary to require making it puppeted or anything. So And I mean, in terms of puppet versus traditional, there's no right way to do it. When I puppeted them, it's usually for actions wherein the character is sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where the character is either from the top up, not from the top up, but from the upper torso, something where consistency is key, or yeah, it's a very simple action. That way, then I will puppet it. Either that, or if you can check out the character in the bottom left-hand corner, how he's spasming. Not spasming, he normally does a dance, but it's a looping dance, so I need him to be looped. And I need those assets to sort of sync up perfectly, so I puppet it. Something that's more dynamic, something that's more action-y, fight-happy, what have you, then I do it purely traditional. So yeah, that's about it.